Hey, folks, it's been 15 minutes since we talked about how stupid Dave Rubin is, and we are contractually obligated. When George Soros came and offered me a lifetime sinecure to do this show, the only thing he required of me was to make sure that you mock Dave Rubin when he deserves it. Now, in many respects, no human can do that. It's too much to ask. But we try and do it as much as possible. Now, you'll recall that we have played at least one or two clips of Dave Rubin telling this story. And we get this from Dave Clips, or at least he turns us on to these things. Dave Clips 2, I think it is, on Twitter. Yeah. Dave Rubin went around on this media tour where he told two stories.
Yeah, two things to say.
One was that the Supreme Court of New York, which will hear Donald Trump's appeal, is made up of 5 black women justices.
And what are the odds?
And what are the odds of that? Obviously, statistically impossible, according to him. And obviously, they're all, because they're all black women, they're all going to be against, think the same way, and they're going to railroad Donald Trump. Well, it turns out that the Supreme Court of New York State is actually a massive court, and it's a level of courts, and it's not the top court. That is the Court of Appeals. He got the nomenclature wrong, and that the number of justices, or judges, I should say, who are in the Supreme Court is 62. And yes, 5 of them are black women.
But anyway, aren't black people supposed to be loving Donald Trump lately? Anyway, never mind.
Yeah, and they're all Dem exit, or whatever it is. But he got it completely wrong. He was humiliated by Megyn Kelly. And then he also went around, told this other story. And he told this to Russell Brand, who seemed to be completely
dissociating
during the entire interview. And we didn't realize that he had told the same story to Megyn Kelly. And she, at this point, I don't know where this is in the course of their interview, but she is came up with the exact, embarrassed him to his face. He doesn't realize that she's mocking him, because Dave is I think just a liar, and B, just impossibly dim. I mean, I have to concede kudos to Dave Rubin for having the level of success he's had, and also seemingly incapable of even putting a lie together that he thinks is serving his best interests. And here's Megyn Kelly really pointing it out.
How is it? Why was I was running illegal parties at my house in California, and nobody was dropping dead.
Right.
And that right before you came to one of my illegal parties there, and it was, nobody dropped dead. Right before I left. So I had already decided we were moving to Florida.
Now, it's quite possible that nobody dropped dead from his parties.
What about the rule of law?
It's also quite possible that somebody got COVID and gave it to somebody who gave it to somebody who did drop dead. Somehow, over 1 million people died in this country.
Yep.
And now maybe, according to Dave Rubin, I only invite people who know people who also deal with people who don't have any comorbidities. We all have the ability to contain this highly contagious novel coronavirus, but unlikely, very unlikely. Go ahead.
Nobody dropped dead. Right before I left, so I had already decided we were moving to Florida, and it was 3 days before we were moving, and I was like, I'm going to go out. I haven't been to a restaurant in 2 years because of COVID, and then you had to have a passport. Mm-hmm. So I had one of my employees fake a vaccine passport for me, and I go to Boa's Steakhouse on Sunset. It was my favorite place in LA, and I go, and it was awful. You couldn't sit at the bar. The waiters are all wearing masks. It was terrible, but I'm sitting there, we're having dinner, and again, I'm already leaving, so this is my goodbye to LA dinner. And then I realized there were a couple tables of people that recognized me. That happens, obviously. But then I was like, wait a minute. They think I'm a liar because I'm at a restaurant where you need a COVID passport. So these people who like me must think that I actually lied.
Now, how Dave knows that people are looking at him because they like him, as opposed to oh, there's that idiot.
Is that Dave Rubin?
Also, they think I'm a liar, so I'll show them my fraudulent COVID
Well,
passport.
you're not the only person who picked up on that.
And I was like, wait a minute. They think I'm a liar because I'm at a restaurant where you need a COVID passport. So these people who like me must think that I actually lied. So I literally went up to 3 tables of people to say, guys, just FYI, this was made by my employee. It's a fake passport.
They were probably like, why are you explaining that to us?
No, they were like, wait, oh, that's
Okay.
well, who are you though? But it was like,
Yeah,
I was like,
that is actually a great question. Dave, why did you assume that you knew what those 3 tables were thinking? And like even if you thought they were your fans, why did you assume that they thought, oh, they know your vaccination status?
Yeah.
And how did they react? Like, excuse me, what? Oh, hey, okay. And Megyn Kelly points that out to him, and then go back just a little bit. She reminds him like, oh, you're trying to prove to them that you're not a liar? Okay, except for how are you trying to prove that to them? Go ahead.
to say, guys, just FYI, this was made by my employee. It's a fake passport.
They were probably like, why are you explaining that
they
to
were
us?
like, wait, oh, that's
Okay.
well, who are you though? But it was like I was like, what a perfect way to leave this place.
Yeah, right.
I have to go up to people to tell them I'm not a liar because of a pet. And that's just like
I am a liar, just not the kind you think.
exactly.
I lied about this.
I lied about
But
this.
not the other thing.
Not the other thing, exactly. But like,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
just like, what a
No,
perfect.
not exactly. It didn't even occur to you that and listen, incidentally,
This was all a daydream that he had at BOA.
there is, I would stake everything I own that there were not 3 separate tables. There may have been one guy.
He thought of what would happen if somebody recognized me and had this entire fever dream and has made it into a real event.
And I'll tell you something. Do you know how thirsty you have to be to try and pick up on 3 separate tables that are looking and then go up and talk to them? I have
my guy made
I have
this.
some friends who are genuinely famous, and the last thing people who would go and do that. I noticed over there that you were looking at me. I'm going to assume that you are a huge fan of mine, so much so that you're also questioning, hey, wait a second. I thought that Dave was unvaccinated, and how could he get into this restaurant? Well, I want you to know I faked a vaccine card. I didn't do it. I had one of my
guy do
guys set it up, my fake vaccine card. Okay, thanks. Great.
I'm gonna finish
Well,
this
I
thing.
just wanted to let you know that. Got to move on to the next table.
Okay, see ya.
Jesus. And I love the fact that she says, well, actually, just make it clear. You weren't telling them that you weren't a liar. You were just saying, I'm a liar, but in a different way than you thought.
And I'll just say, somebody served time for fraudulently creating vaccine passports. And I think there's a justification for having severe penalties for that sort of antisocial behavior.
That's right. Is there any more?
A
to this?
liar because of a pet. And that's just like
I am a liar, just not the kind you think.
Exactly.
I lied about this.
I lied about
But
this.
not the other thing.
Not the other thing, exactly.
Exactly.
But like, I was just like, what a perfect way to leave this place. And that's just like a very small example of the stupidity that we allowed this man to proliferate through society.
The stupidity that we allowed this man to proliferate. Why didn't you go to a restaurant for 2 years? Why didn't you go to a restaurant for 2 years? Because for 1 year of COVID, it was your guy, Donald Trump, was the president.
Right.
How, Mathlete, was Herman Cain at any of Dave's illegal parties?
Or the TPUSA guy, was it Bill Montgomery?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's going to die from this stuff.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.